Hello and welcome to Pals Pulls, the Comics Pals weekly podcast where we talk about everybody's favorite thing, comics. This week, I am very excited to do the show because we are talking about one comic in particular, and maybe only one, that I really, really, really enjoyed. And we're going to get to that in a moment. We have a full house today. We've got Cale,
What's up? Hot dogs.
Marco,
Marco's monster, as it were.
Tyler,
Hi.
and of course, I am Sean. Thank you for being with us, whether you are live or in the future. Make sure that you smash that like button. Be subscribed if you are watching us right now. We have
Howdy.
five of this week's biggest releases from the comics industry. We've got a little AVA, Aliens versus, oh no, Aliens versus Avengers #1.
Rip.
That's
probably
so
gonna be.
annoying.
It's probably gonna be like a nice variant. He's like, I got the whatever.
No, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. Don't worry. Don't worry.
You're working on your background. It's fine.
Yeah. X-Men #3, which I do have a variant for that I cannot show you. Uh
The nasty Jean Grey one.
You might need to stand up and have it covering your torso.
Ultimate X-Men #6, The Nice House by the Sea #2, and Frankenstein #1. Listener pick of the week. Listener pick of the week. Okay. Let's kick things off with a little AVA action. Now, I want to say up front, we paid the Hickman tax for this. This was $7.99 for those of you who are unfamiliar. So hopefully it was worth our while because that's a pricey comic book. So the aforementioned Jonathan Hickman on the words, Isad Ribic on the art, which was beautiful. Colors by Eve Zvorcina, Corey Pettit on the letters. So strong creative team. Now, none of us really knew what the premise would be for this book. None of us really knew what to expect outside of Avengers versus Alien action. And I was surprised, I'll say this right out the gate. I was surprised at how much more than that there was to this. I feel like there are some really interesting things here, some compelling things. Hickman is chewing on something. So the essential idea is that the aliens, the xenomorphs from the Alien franchise, have invaded the Earth. And very quickly, they were able to take us down and dismantle, the structure of our society across the entire world, including taking down a large swath, the majority of the Avengers, to where the resistance group is literally existing out of one city. And in this issue consists of a very small amount of Avengers who are now just trying to fight for their lives and figure out, what should we do? Should we, what are the solutions to this? Is there any? Is the Earth forfeit? Do we give up? What's the plan? And the issue is largely showing us that sort of struggle play out. It's got characters I didn't expect to see that probably were a surprise to each of us, I would have to imagine. And some really dynamic and interesting premises that show me that Hickman didn't just take this as another cash in. He really thought this through. What did you guys think of this?
This was pick of the week. This was the first book that I read this week as well. So I started off, I felt strong, really good momentum. And yeah, I think all the things that you called out there are present in the book. What struck me was I'd read the Philip Kennedy Johnson stuff, the other Alien reboot that they had initially had, some of the Predator things. This is a really big franchise for me. And so, I've seen that it's been good work, hasn't been stellar work, but this knocked it out of the park. And I think it took combining the premise of all of this with the Marvel universe. It felt seamless. Like, of course, it's just another alien race. Like, of course, they just sent it out, and we're paying for this kind of thing. And I liked the angle of the future that we're in. I think that was a really smart play because it exists far away from continuity to matter in any grand scheme, but close enough that it's like I'm still grounded to where I am in the universe. And so um, I had an absolute blast with this. This was a phenomenal book. The art, Ribbich, I'm a huge fan of that. So again, just back to back.
I'm with Marco on this one, actually. This is my pick of the week as well. So it's a big month for aliens. Who said it in Uncanny Suit? Said it in '97. Said it in chat. It's we got Romulus out. We have this. A lot of big stuff coming on. The TV show coming out soon. So people are eating good if you're fans of xenomorphs. But these tie-in books haven't really, or these alien books never really did much for me. Same for Predator. Even like the Planet of the Apes stuffs. It's I understand the purpose of it, not really for me. But once I saw this was Hickman, and Isad Ribic on it as well, I was like, okay, hold on. I know I'm gonna have to pay a lot of money for this, but that's a team. That's Secret Wars right there. So going into this book, I don't know if I had high expectations, but I had higher than I would for an Alien comic. What I really enjoyed was, Marco called it out, was the fact that this is set into its own future, which I think it kind of needs to be. Because in a way, like Alien is always in the future, in our future. So it's almost inherent in the source material for Alien. So doing that for the comics as well adds to that kind of like near future, like things are going to get worse than what they are now, and adds that dirtiness and the grittiness of it. But also means that like, all right, I can do whatever I want. Most of the big players are off the board at this point. So it's not the xenomorphs fighting the Avengers and taking over Earth. That's already happened. And I like that, because that's the easy way of writing the story. Now it's like, all right, I want to see the Avengers as the underdog. And how do you do that? You said it. You already have that takeover happen. And I loved it. I loved the incorporation with the cyborgs being, playing as a Shi'ar. I thought that was great. There's some real interesting bits with, it looks like it's Wayland Yutani who is with the Avengers. And I was like, oh, that is a combination I did not expect to see. Almost like in their version of Avengers Tower. Like there's some really weird mixes going on here that I did not expect that are exciting. And I really, really enjoyed this.
I tend to be very harsh on crossovers like this. And with Hickman and Ribic, like I'm already like iffy on Asad Ribic in the first place. Alien is a franchise that has been worn to death in the comics for me. And then now you're just gonna slap some Avengers on it. I gotta tell you, pick of the week. This was good. This felt like fan fiction, but in like the cool way.
Yeah,
Like,
Dude, the kind of fan fiction that used to circulate around in the early 2000s that somehow everyone had read, where it was just
yeah.
really good, but you knew they were never going to get paid for it. This is that, but they got paid.
The kind that like sticks to your gut, even though you'll never admit you read it on like the fan fiction forums or whatever.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, the Ribic to me is iffy, but I'll be damned if he doesn't draw an intense face. Like the facial close-ups on this, while a lot of like the facial work and the lines just don't appeal to me, he can punctuate a moment like nobody else.
All right. So this is definitely one of those weeks where we have a unanimous pick of the week.
Oh, hell
And
yeah.
I'm grateful that we started with AVA, because I don't have nearly as many good things to say about the rest of the books we read this week
Yeah.
as I do with this. This book set the bar so high. I read this last because I read to save the best for last. So I thought I would enjoy this most, so I saved it for last. And I'm glad I did that, because had I read this first, I would have had even worse thoughts about the rest of the books on the docket. This book was insane. When Black Panther took off his mask and he was old, I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit, we're in the fucking future.
Dude, I popped when he said Azari's name. I was like, wait, Azari?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yup. His son was Storm. And he's even using those powers in the book. You see him lighting those xenomorphs up, which was sick as hell. I love that. I think someone, it was Manny actually on our Discord server that said that Black Panther is one of Hickman's top 3 best written characters, and I completely agree with that. Ever since going back to the New Avengers days, he just understands the weight of what that character is dealing with at all times, and he writes them excellently. But there were some major surprises that I also really loved. Valeria being a factor in this was super cool. I was so happy to see her involvement. But come on, you want to talk about top 3 best written characters? What about Apocalypse?
Oh,
What about that
such a
surprise?
You knew he
Wow.
had to
So
do
good.
that. He had
I
to
was
do that.
not
Yeah.
expecting. Yeah.
No,
was not
dude.
expecting that.
And the Krakoa tease and tie-in that
Yeah.
the X-Men dipped. They said, you know what? Listen, we've dealt with enough. You deal with it. You deal with it.
That's what Hickman
Y'all
did on
want 'em,
X-Men.
take 'em.
Yeah, that's exactly what Hickman did. He said, I'm out of here.
So good. Just appropriate to the character, appropriate to, and it was a good page turn, because that you see him in the ruins, you see the island. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, mutants. What else are they gonna do? Oh, they kind of left. Oh, but the guy is here.
Yep. Yep. What's up, Amin Perez? Hey, Matt Murphy. Triple Ho, how you doing? Uncanny Suit, what's going on? Philosopher King, good to see you. Thor's Drinking Buddy, how's it going? Those are just the names I can see right now. Thank you to everybody that is with us. You guys rock. So I really liked the fact that not everybody is on the same page about what to do in this situation either. Like we mentioned, the X-Men just dip. Apocalypse stays because he's like, hey, this is the world I wanted. Survival of the fittest, which is insane, but that's so like appropriate at the same time.
Almost made me want Apocalypse versus Predator. Like there's some good distinction there that could be fun.
Ooh.
If Hickman writes it, I'll read that.
Yeah.
But Valeria, she's older now. You know, how many times have we seen a comic? I mean, I don't actually know the answer, where we get to see a character like that age and have some real advancement in their life. And she mentions how she's been divorced twice and like she's had all this life that she has lived that we didn't see. So it makes me like Hickman is such a good writer that he managed to craft a future that has a past that I want to read. And we're never going to get that. But I want to see that.
But I also kind of like that we'll never get it.
Sure,
Like,
of course.
there's
But
a-
I just want
there's
to
something cool
you know,
there too. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Interesting. Interesting that this is the second older Valeria book we've gotten this year from
Right.
Hickman.
right? Because she was old in the Doom one shot.
Yeah.
I really appreciated that he took the time to break these things down, because you could very much just start a world and be like, oh yeah, we've always existed here. You know, this is just the new reality. It's like, no, this is how we got here. This is why. It gives enough context for you to just, it presents you already at the start with, you know, Black Panther and all that kind of stuff. It teases that out to you, but then it gives you the information to be like, okay, cool, I'm settled now. Now roll it out.
Hell yeah.
And also, like, I think the specific choice of the characters that Hickman chooses here is interesting. Like Black Panther, he has a good voice for. We've said it. Valeria is his darling. You know, she is in everything that he's pretty much done. But then Hulk, can you remember a time he's written Hulk? Because I can't, honestly. Like, he wasn't really on the Avengers when Hickman was writing it. So, like, there's some, like, new things here. Like, I don't remember Hickman writing Carol Danvers that much. So, it's a mixture of these new toys that aren't really new, but, like, new to Hickman, and some classic toys that he's playing with. And I like that. It's a good lineup that I'm excited to see.
Can we talk about the best part of the issue? I
Miles?
mean, maybe we don't all agree, but the best part of the issue to me was when Miles Morales got a face hugger stuck on his face. And I'm like, I literally had this reaction. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? This is what we're
Yeah.
doing right away. We're just gonna
Yeah.
kill Miles.
Typical horror
Black guy
movie.
gets it first.
Yeah. And then he was wearing the symbiote, and the symbiote was now on the face hugger. That shit was nuts. I was like, oh my God, I cannot
Truly.
believe this.
Truly, that's what sold me. I went, I didn't even think about the symbiotes. We're going there, okay? We're going there.
Yes.
As you say that, Sean, I'm like, man, this is some real fanfic shit.
There was a moment where they're fighting, and you see, I'm trying to find the page, but you see teeth on Miles's face. He's all the way in the background, and I was trying to figure out. I'm like, did I miss something? Did he get attacked, or did something happen? I'm trying to find the page, and I was like, that's weird. And so when the symbiote moment happened, I'm like, oh shit, that makes sense.
Oh, I see it. It's they just beat it's right after the page where Hulk says, "Young lady, you're late."
Yeah.
It's on the page after that.
I thought it was a mistake or something.
What are we looking for here?
His face, you see teeth, like he's like venom teeth.
Like like Venom teeth.
Oh,
Definitely.
Wild.
I saw that. I was like, that's weird.
It's right around page 29.
Well, what's funny, I mean, it kind of funny is like I didn't even notice that, but I would have seen that and immediately thought, oh, he's a vampire.
Yes,
Because
yes.
he's currently a vampire.
That's what I
Oh,
thought. Yes,
interesting.
yes.
Okay, we don't need a third crossover happening. Vampires versus aliens versus Avengers
Why not?
by Jed McKay.
And I love how underneath his Venom symbiote was the Future Foundation outfit, which
Oh,
got
yeah.
some play here.
Which makes sense too, because Valeria was wearing hers. So,
Yes.
Miles never
Yeah.
got one, technically, but it exists, so.
And how sick does his new costume look? The fusion of
Oh.
the Future Foundation costume with a symbiote that's on a face hugger that's on his chest. Like,
Yeah.
excuse me?
That's somebody that's like your high friend went on an AI generator and generated that.
But it came out sick as shit
Yeah.
Yeah.
with Assad
swirl.
Ribic art that wasn't ripped or stolen.
In the style of
Right.
Insane.
And it's the inverse, right? Like because the face hugger is white or pale-ish, and then you flip the entirety of that all the way around. So it's also just cool visually.
my favorite part about that whole bit was the dumb sci-fi-ness of, well, facehugger versus symbiote, parasite cancels out parasite. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. You know what?
Sure.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
I was also kind of like, yeah,
That makes sense.
That's sci-fi for you, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
like why not? The art was fantastic. I know that not every single person loves Assad's artwork. I have loved it since, whenever I first saw it. And he's right at home dealing with these characters. I mean, God, how many times has he had his at bat with the Avengers? But the way that he draws characters, I think, really works on the people who are supposed to be older because they really look aged and weathered and tired. And that plays for what their history is like, what they've been through.
Which really
Yeah.
worked on Jason Aaron's Thor run with Old Man Thor.
Sure. Yes.
Like that same kind of thing worked here. Yeah, I agree with that.
And as ever, he captures really great moments. He chooses excellent points at which to decide to draw the image, to draw what is happening. He always chooses a moment that's dynamic and interesting visually. This was a ride, and it was an extended book, so it's $7.99, but it is extended. There are what, 48 pages, 30 something
Yeah.
pages,
44 on
44.
Unlimited.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Felt like it.
I
yeah.
did not feel that. I was enraptured.
Once they do the time jump, I was like, oh, that felt like an issue already. With the
Sure.
whole Wakandan
yeah.
space versus the cyborgs or whatever.
Was that a time jump or was that a space jump?
Same
Yeah, I don't
thing.
think-
Space time.
Yeah,
both.
I don't think it was
Yeah.
a time jump, but
It was just
he's
location.
already old there.
It felt
right?
location.
They talk
Yeah,
about time
can-
dilation in it, so it's kind of both.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Space.
Yeah. I'll get into sort of a couple of small complaints I had. I didn't know all that about the Black Panther. And someone in there, the Black Panther group says T'Chaka. So I thought that the old guy was T'Chaka. I missed that completely, as in T'Challa's father.
Right.
I'm
Um,
mistaken then.
and then I thought that I didn't know about the powers, so I just thought it was just some cool uh Black
Like
Panther
suit thing.
Wakanda suit thing, yeah. And then once I got to once they introduced Waylon, uh the caption saying no one knows how, but they were ready for what was coming. Like a prophet of doom, the old man of Waylon knew. And Waylon is just staring out into the distance and they show the building. Well, on the next page, you see another old man on the building staring out into the distance.
I
I thought that
yes.
was Waylon, and I was very confused for a long time as to, oh, okay, maybe his name's Bruce Waylon. I just like,
That's
I
funny.
understand. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really had to do some, like, once I got there, I was like, oh, okay, it's all straight, great. But I really felt a little bit of confusion and stretching happening there.
Could it have benefited from name captions?
I Yeah, maybe, especially given that like it took me a minute to realize Carol was Carol too, because her costume isn't quite, you know,
Yeah, I just assumed as
uh
much from the cover, but yeah, it doesn't really tell you in the text.
Oh,
oh,
and
she in the
actually,
cover.
I saw what you're referencing, Kale. They're referencing a ship because that's in the context of the time dilation. The black hole below us is massive enough to cause severe time dilation. Ours here costs years out there, a high cost, but nothing compared to the one being paid on T'Chaka's Reach. On T'Chaka's Reach. That's the ship's name.
Oh, okay.
I didn't make that Wayland connection immediately as well. So I actually for a hot minute thought Professor X. Like, yo, this dude's still here? I thought everybody left. So I was
Yeah.
confused on that for a little bit.
Dude, as soon as they beheaded the cyborg and it had the milk coming out of it, I was like, oh,
Yo.
we're going there. There's gonna
Yeah.
be real alien shit in here. So I only saw Aliens for the first time 2 weeks ago.
Hmm.
No way.
Yeah. So Alien is top 5 movies for me, the first one.
Yeah.
And I said, that's it. I'm good. I never got to Aliens until 2 weeks ago. So
A
I'm
lot
in
of
the
fun.
Alien mood. And once I saw that, I was like, oh, hell yeah, this is it. I'm into it.
I think Hickman's the type of dude that's gonna pull from fucking Prometheus.
Sure,
Okay, I did
all
see
of it, dude.
Prometheus, yeah. But, oh, man,
I
are we going to get Engineers versus Hulk?
I saw the first two Alien movies. I hated them. Not hated, but I just didn't think there was anything to them. Thought they were boring. I love Prometheus. I saw Romulus.
Was it good?
I thought it was awesome.
Yes.
And to me, this one comic is better than both the first Alien movies. So I can't wait to see what Hickman does in this space because so far he's one of the only people doing stuff I like with these characters.
Man, imagine
So,
this as a movie.
Oh, forget
oh
about it,
boy,
dude.
God damn.
let it sell just enough.
Yeah.
1 million
I
copies.
wonder, though, at what point in media do we become Aliens versus Avengers is a movie? It's got to happen eventually, right?
I don't know. I don't know. I think that's the jump to shark territory. for
Old
the
man Mark
films.
Ruffalo on here. Come on.
You get fucking Jason in space. That's the territory we'll be in.
That's a good one,
Yeah,
though.
then
That's a
it's
good
played
one.
out.
Yeah.
All right. So it was all of our pick of the week. So obviously no passes here. Tremendous book. $7.99 is a high cost to pay, but I'm always the guy to bring up the cost of things. I'll gladly pay $7.99 if I'm going to get this kind of quality every time. The next issue is not out until I think it's November, so we've got a long way to wait.
Yeah.
But again, I will wait for quality. November might be a little bit too long. I think October is better because by
Yeah.
the time November rolls around, it's like, oh, what even happened? But this is so good, and it's just the first issue, so I think it'll stick in my brain at least. I'm very excited for the future of this. Are there any characters that you are looking forward to them including or hope that they include?
Somebody already called it out in the chat, and I apologize because it was a little earlier. But the Brood, I want to see if they throw in Marvel's version of xenomorphs in here in some way. Do we get a Brood alien hybrid? I don't know. The X-Men are already gone, so who knows? But that could be fun.
Yeah, Thor's drinking buddy. Um, well, when they brought up the scroll, I want to see. I actually want to see the aliens being brought from other planets to see how they play here. So not necessarily characters, but I want to see their powers indirectly through the aliens.
You want to see a scroll alien?
Yeah, what like a transforming, camouflaged alien is one of these guys, and suddenly, fwaff, like whatever.
They already mentioned it. Like it's Chekhov's Skrull alien at this point.
Yeah.
Doom.
Doom.
Oh, that'd be
Trying to think of
cool.
trying to think of the Hickman characters more than, you know, any old character I'd want to see.
Sure. Doom is a good one. Gosh, I don't even know. Like,
Yeah, I didn't expect Miles. I didn't expect Valeria. I'm iffy on Hulk, but like I don't know if Hickman's like that's 2 out of 3. Like, let's keep going.
yeah, genuinely, I'm enjoying the surprise so far of like who's involved and in what capacity. I'm open. I'm open.
The Maker.
Oh,
Mm.
triple ho says Thor.
Yeah, yeah. Where's
Is
Thor?
he on the cover? Who's
Sure.
on the cover? Oh, Iron Man's on the cover, and Cap are on the cover, but like they're not even in the book. So
I
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
like that a lot.
the swerve.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I was expecting it to just be like our current Avengers or whatever, and then it's not.
Yep.
Like, are they dead? I don't know. Probably. Love it, love it, love it. Seems like the chat is on our wavelength with this book. Neighborhood Merc has been questioning like is what's up with the price and stuff like that, or the price, or all of it going to be $8? Probably, if I had to guess, they will be $8 because if the next one isn't coming out until November, it'll probably be the same length, and certainly the creative team ain't changing. And you know about the Hickman tax, so I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's gonna be the same price, and that's a price worth paying.
It is. Solicits show it as $7.99.
Yeah, I'd say the Hickman tax, but also the license fee here is also what you're paying for.
And the expanded page count, like it's not a backup. You know what I'm saying? We always rail against backups. This is actual story pages, and I'm all about that. You want to charge me $4.99 for additional main story pages? That's a different conversation than a backup.
Yep.
As I'm looking at the League of Comic Geeks page for this, one of the comments says, "Third event series this year to go. Nah, fuck Peter. We want the real Spider-Man for this."
Well,
Hickman does like Miles. He was in Secret Wars too. So
A lot of electricity coming out here.
Triple Ho says, and I love this is what I fucking love about comic book readers. Triple Ho says, last week I said I was off the Hickman train, and I remember you saying that. I specifically remember you saying that. And then he follows up with, but I'm back, baby. This was great. And that it being an alien crossover makes it sound like a movie time. But this was so well done. Hickman back to form. My dude, you were off of Hickman, and then this week you showed up to your comic shop or digitally or whatever, and you say, you know what? That creator who I'm done with, let me drop $7.99 on him.
comics is just an abusive relationship.
I'd like to board the train again. Could you stamp my ticket?
Oh my God, that's so funny, dude. James
we got-
Jones. Oh, go for it, please.
Oh, I was gonna pivot back to the white Miles suit. A lot of talk in the chat about about it possibly being an anti-venom suit.
The symbiote being on it though, because anti-venom is a symbiote.
Symbiote itself, yeah.
So that would mean he'd have two symbiotes. I don't know if I buy that.
So yeah, there were a couple of comments here, but this one specifically was a bit of a prediction from Triple Ho. I think the white suit is more a take on the anti-venom suit because he will be the cure for the xenomorphs as anti-venom was to the symbiotes. That feels easy.
I had a question.
Baked in and easy.
How did Mr. Fantastic get got? Like, would the chest burster even be able to Pop
That's so
out.
funny.
Okay, yeah, this is why you need to go into the future and say people are dead. Like,
Didn't he? I don't think he got. I think he went nut.
Oh, that's right.
no,
got depressed.
it was Ben and didn't Ben and
Johnny.
Franklin or Ben and Johnny just went. Oh, he got depressed. Okay.
I'd be depressed too.
Yeah.
The comic book gamer says, I usually don't care for crossovers, but this was wild and I loved it. Book of the week. Well, comic book gamer, welcome to the channel. I haven't seen your name before. Thank you for the comment. And I completely agree. This was excellent stuff. I love how far out of the box Hickman thought. Thor's drinking buddy says, isn't it fair to say that Hickman is the superstar of Marvel this year? Ultimate Spider-Man, Doom, Wolverine Revenge, and now AVA. He batting 100 for sure. I love how you left out gods. And I agree that we would have to leave out gods from the equation if we are talking about Hickman being the superstar of Marvel. But that being said, I cannot even fathom an argument against that unless the other name is Al Ewing.
Dude, I'd put gods up there.
Also, somebody in the chat, I think it was John B, asked how many issues. This is 1 of 4.
Damn. Well, all right. That's fine. I guess I kind of wish it was a little longer, but
They're oversized though, so
yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Aaron Ruiz says, is this the best crossover so far from what they've done? Far and away. If you're talking about crossovers with Alien or Predator characters, I can't imagine that any of them, at least the ones I read, have been better than this.
Has anyone checked out Black Panther versus Predator? That's currently out. I think the first issue just came out like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
I bought it.
One.
I didn't
Okay.
read it.
If not published by Marvel, but in my opinion, the greatest crossover was actually Archie and Predator. Highly recommend.
You're not wrong. That shit was good.
That shit was good.
Murphy makes a good point too. There's no licensing fee probably because it's all owned by Disney. So
Yeah, I was thinking about the 20th Century Studios thing in the corner.
yeah.
Planet 628 says Aliens the Dark Horse years came out in Epic Collection last week. It's worth getting if you like the Alien comics.
There's some hit or miss stuff. I think the Jeffrey Stokes is pretty good. Is that right? No, that sounds wrong.
I didn't know you were this much of an alien head, dude.
Dude, I've read so many of the comics.
Okay.
There's good stuff out there. Some of it's pretty average, but I would say the stuff that it's really good is I'll put the one that I really recommend out there. I'll take a look for it.
Where's your Alien Swamp Thing fanfic? Where can we read that?
Oh, if only, dude. If only. Swamp Thing wins.
Figure Drawing says to put a writer as a superstar of Marvel is wild. Okay, well, why is that wild? I don't get that. Who's the superstar of Marvel? Can it not be a writer? Is that like, could it only be an artist? Because obviously there are some artists you could throw in that conversation, but even as far as artists go, just due to the nature of the limited amount of books that they can work on, I always look at Pepe Larraz, but the only major book I can think of that he did this year is Blood Hunt, and the art was outstanding. I just hated the subject matter, so I wouldn't include. I go Hickman, and I don't feel any level of shame about that at all.
I didn't know this was a thing, Cale, but Matt says Mignola Alien comic is goated. That's
Mignola,
interesting.
yeah.
That's interesting.
White Baldwin, another new name. Thanks for the comment. I loved Wolverine vs. Predator, and Black Panther vs. Predator looks great so far. So there you go.
I bet Wolverine versus Predator was fun.
Yeah. I read the first one, and I liked it fine.
We read it for the show, I think.
That's right. Yes, we did. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that discussion. We are far from done. We've got 4 more books to go. We're going to get into the stack a little later. We've got a lot of fun hijinks to get into around these parts. If you are enjoying the show thus far, make sure you Hulk smash that like button the way that the Hulk was getting his ass smashed in by that xenomorph in this issue here. He was getting smoked. Leave us a like, subscribe to the channel if you are not. I want to mention patreon.com/thecomicspals, where we are always giving you more bang for your buck. You get to join the Palsverse, which 3 people have joined the Palsverse this week. So I'm going to be busy. But that's a happy busy because we love bringing people into the fold. It's the best part of this. So thank you for that. If you want to be a part of that, head on over to our Patreon page. You can also vote. Right now, you can vote or nominate, I should say, nominate a book for the New 52 Book Club Month, which is the theme of September. We're going back 13 years to talk about the New 52, a controversial time in DC's history.
Don't say that long. That's way too long.
If it wasn't that long, there would be no damn reason for us to go back to
I
it.
know,
Now would
but
there?
I feel old now thinking about that.
Well, you are, Tyler. So yeah, over on the Patreon, you can vote when the voting begins. You get to join the Palsverse. You get to listen to our exclusive show, Palling Around. Lots of great stuff happening over there on that side of things. We put our Comics Explained videos. The video we did with him, he joined us impromptu on the main show this past Saturday. So if you haven't watched the main show yet, which you should, you can watch those cutouts, which are out right now. And people are really enjoying lots of conversation and discourse surrounding what Rob had to say. We will certainly have Rob back on the show. It was a blast. Good time hanging out with Rob. Go ahead, Tyler.
I just want to call out a comment real quick before we get to the next book. Will V, new listener that I've seen here. New to collecting. Do they put these types of stories together in oversized hardcover usually?
Yes.
Yes, with an addendum. Not every book gets an oversized hardcover, but I can guarantee you this Avengers versus Aliens one probably will.
Figure Drawing says, my point is comics are a visual medium. If the Aliens crossover had awful art, that is a fail. Of course. But that's not that. I feel like you're saying that as if we're only talking about this book and saying that Hickman is the superstar of Marvel. I think Hickman and Assad did great stuff here, for sure. But if you take the totality of what Hickman has done throughout the year, that would be my answer. And if you have a different one, that's fair. But I don't think that Hickman is an invalid choice, certainly. So let's move forward. We shared a lot of love, and it was joyous here for the first half hour as we discussed AVA. Well, maybe we're about to have a different conversation as we get into X-Men number 3. This is, of course, written by Jed MacKay, one of the superstars of Marvel, according to, well, Marvel, with Ryan Stegman on art, inks by J.P. Mayer and John Livesey, colors by Marta Gracia and Fernando Cifuentes, letters by Clayton Cowles. So this issue is sort of more of the same of what we've been getting. Cyclops has a sit-down conversation with one of the headhunters behind the ONE, which those of you who have been reading X-Men comics for a long time, those initials will stand out to you, because that was the group that initially kept the X-Men under lock and key when they were down to the 198, and they had Sentinels outside of the Avengers mansion or the X-Men mansion. So it looks like they brought back ONE, but it's called something else now. And so Cyclops has a sit-down conversation with that dude that, pretty much just establishes where both sides are coming from, while the rest of the X-Men go on a mission.
It's the Office of National Emergency is the
Thank you.
acronym.
Thank you. What'd you guys think of this one?
I thought it was better than issue 2. I'll say that much. It was not the same issue as issue 1, so there was market improvement. It was an interesting one, though, because I'm still not sure what the MO of this book is. And I think that's kind of an issue I have with a lot of the X-Men books right now. Like, what is the reason for it? The one bit in this that I enjoyed was when Cyclops being roasted by a guy that looks like he is a bartender in Greenpoint with the O&E agent. When he says, hey, do you want to see my X-Men or my Brotherhood? And then I realized, wait a minute. And then he lists all the characters that are on this team. I'm like, I didn't think about that. Like, these are all maybe a little dubious to be X-Men heroes. And I kind of dug that. I was like, oh, okay, maybe this is the more gray team for the X-Men. I'm very curious about that last page. It was very out of character, but that doesn't mean it makes it bad. Could just be an added layer to Cyclops. But yeah, I think overall I enjoyed this. It didn't light my pants on fire, but by the end of it, I was like, that's pretty good.
Kind of felt like this has been the same thing as the previous two issues. A new government person, a new set of villains, all chasing the mutants for something, and Beast still hasn't done anything cool.
Passes out.
He's too busy putting eyeliner on. That's the issue.
Well, listen.
Magneto's still sitting in a chair.
Yeah. Pretending to be a bad guy, I guess. Like,
Or whatever that is.
Really don't understand what's going on with Magneto.
Have bed sores at this point. Jeez.
Yeah. I like what Cyclops says here, but it just, I don't know, it didn't have any teeth for me. Because we've seen the same thing 2 issues, 3 issues in a row. So I just like, cool to have this little moment between Magneto and I've already forgotten her name. Temper. But I just like this premise doesn't seem to have much behind it at the moment in the way of like action. Like it doesn't feel like there's a huge amount of plot that they're going through. It just kind of to me, it feels like the same thing has happened 3 issues in a row.
It doesn't feel dense, in that we're being carried towards a clear end, or that end is interesting and mysterious in some way, but being obfuscated at the moment. Like, and this is just a comparison to the Krakoa stuff, right? It feels like we've gotten back to that, whatever the expected meat and potatoes was supposed to be, and away from that mystery and stuff that was present in the previous X-Men book. I'm also not as familiar with some of these characters outside of Juggernaut, so I'm not popping for them either. These are like Cyclops, Juggernaut, but I don't have as much familiarity with, Magic, I guess, but
What familiarity do you have with Juggernaut?
Actually, there's an issue in Onslaught.
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
It always comes back to Onslaught with you. What the fuck? We just read 5 years of Krakoa, and your point of reference for Juggernaut isn't all the issues he was in. It's Apocalypse.
It's that tweet where it's like a guy who's only seen Boss Baby sees a movie and says, it's giving me Boss Baby vibes.
I'm not finding myself enjoying this as much as I would have hoped coming into a new relaunch, a new start.
Because Juggernaut wasn't shot out of a cannon like a bullet, like the 2 times he was in Krakoa and Marco saw him.
Exactly.
All right, so I'm going to start with the positives because I do think there were some positives. I thought that Jed McKay really tried to do something with Cyclops and Tempest. And I think both characters' dialogue landed. Tempest needed to have some moments, and she got those. That was really good. I believed in her. I believed in what she was saying, and I never have before. So to me, that's always a win. I really like that. Cyclops needs to feel like there's some edge to him. I thought the first couple of issues he was coming across a little, I don't know, childish. Especially the last one where he talked about having 2 girls with him and teenage fantasy. That was a little stupid. This, seeing him get involved with talking to a government agent who could just kill him, and Cyclops is eating his burger and fries like, yeah, you don't want us to turn into the Brotherhood because if that happens, you guys are deleted. I really like that as well. I don't believe in the Cyclops is Magneto, Rogue is Professor X that they're trying to kind of do here. But we need to see that progress more before we can really speak too much to that. That being said, all of that being said, this team doesn't feel like a team on any level. Most of the time, they are not all together. That's annoying.
Mm.
And the banter is too bantery. Like, I don't need banter, banter, banter. What about, like, is there any care between these characters? Is there any, like, not, I guess there's no romance, but, like, just something to chew on, soap opera-y. It's an X-Men comic.
It feels
Yeah,
like
there was like.
it feels like a Call of Duty lobby.
Wow.
Like there's like it's just a whole bunch of people just trying to get the high score, really.
Slightly less racism.
Yeah.
Way less. Thankfully.
No,
I mean,
no,
I mean, to be fair, the book is about racism.
So, sure. Yeah, that is fair.
So that's what I mean by slightly less.
Normally don't do this, but Phenomenal AC said, hello, everyone. Make sure you smash that like button. Thank you for spreading that message, AC. I always see you, and I love you for that. So thank you.
I only see AC ever comment that though.
He's that dude. I saw
That bad
him.
about it.
God, what other channel do I see you on? Is it Chill's channel? Is it BL's Black Comics Lords? I always see you somewhere when I'm lurking. So I see you do that for others. Thank you. But otherwise, and you know, the Stegman art is you know, it's good. Again, I have problems with the Cyclops. I'm not going to belabor it every single time. You know, it's good. It's good stuff. But there's just something is lacking here. The through line isn't working for me. I don't care about their mission. It just doesn't feel like anything.
Yeah, but it's because they haven't gone on it yet.
That's fair.
What is their mission?
To find these I guess children or adults who are gaining mutant powers suddenly.
Right.
Like
Like
the
that's
whole,
why the government is going after them.
the whole issue with this issue was that the strike team was going to, which Vanisher showed up and then never actually factored into the book, and
Vanished.
he did to take out Cerebro. Right? Have we ever even seen them use Cerebro in the previous issues? Like they knew there was a new activation up in the issue 2 with that guy that can control reality and stuff like that. Yeah, I just don't know what their mission is.
Well, their mission is what Cale said. The problem is that they keep doing that mission
I guess,
every issue. They've done it 3 times in a row.
they'll get
And
there.
it's bland.
And you know, you'd think issue 3, if you're going by the 6 issue arc, they should be halfway through it by now. Like
Right.
we should have hit like a long dark night of the soul, and they're still just slapping down government agents.
I guess. I wonder if it's tricky post Krakoa to have X-Men fighting their own rogues gallery again because everyone was kumbaya in Krakoa.
That's a great point, Tyler.
So like,
Well,
who do you lift up as the villain when like they were chilling with Apocalypse, they were chilling with Omega Red, you know?
Orcus, one of the 3 other
Sinisters?
fucking
Yo, get the old ladies, get the octogenarian.
old
Oh,
ladies.
I
guys,
like them.
yeah.
Okay, that's a
But
Hickman
even-
creation. I like them.
But again, even issues 1, 2, and 3 here have had 3 different villain sets that have gone after them. Fight them. Pick one of those guys.
And who were the people that they teased at the end of the QR, the first issue with the QR code? Where's that? The Cabal.
You're saying they should have more QR codes.
No. No. And this Saturday, we might be talking about QR codes again, but this time for DC.
Oh,
So, yeah, I'm honestly struggling whether to pull or pass this. I really am. Like, I personally, me, Sean, I am not dropping X-Men. But do I recommend it is a different question. And I think I'm going to say pull. I don't want to, though. I don't want to, but the Cyclops and the Tempest stuff was good. The Stegman art is good, but I just don't feel like there's anything here.
Sean, temper.
Temper, I'm sorry. Temper, sorry.
but it's good.
But if there's nothing here, what are we hanging on to? Pass for me, man.
Yeah.
Like, if I want cool Cyclops, I'll go get it. Like, this just ain't doing it, you
You can
know?
watch X-Men 97 again.
That's right.
You just play one game of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and you're good.
I'll watch that 5 minutes where he skydives or whatever, and I'm set.
See, but that's the thing. Why is it that that was a show? Why don't the comics have shit like that? Why isn't Cyclops just like he's talking, but why isn't he doing anything that's badass?
Bo DeMaio should write X-Men comics.
Maybe he should, but it just depends on whether he can keep his hands to himself or not, or whatever. You know, I'm not trying to get into all that, but like, I just feel like Jed McKay could probably think about a cool thing for Cyclops to do across 3 issues. We've already spent $15 on this. Can we get a moment? Are you pulling or passing, Tyler?
It's a pull for me, but when you said we already spent $15 on this, that made me question my life in general. But I'm going to go with a pull on this. I am enjoying it enough. It's got enough of a lineup that it hits my fandom. But yeah.
Unfortunate. I want it to be good so freaking bad. I can't even tell you, man. So
Marco,
bad.
did you say pass or pull?
I said pass.
Don't worry, Sean. You have a Uncanny X-Men #2 that was referenced in this that isn't even out yet to look forward to.
Okay, good, great.
Even that was bizarre. Why is this 2 issues ahead of the other book that it's referencing? What are we doing?
Remember Exceptional X-Men? When have we seen that?
Nevuary.
That reminds me. The fucking X-Men ad that broke in the middle of Magneto and what's her name? Tempest Converse. We just said her name 15,000 times and I've already forgotten it. The X-Mentions ad break in the middle of the issue. What is with this?
Oh, so you're finally getting it now too?
No, I got it the whole time.
Oh, okay.
But it just happens in the middle of the action and it's, a whole spread. Like, what is going on here?
It's stupid. Like, creative is whatever. I'm not here to say that, they can do whatever they want. But that just doesn't make a lick of sense. It doesn't make any sense for whoever is putting these books together to it right smack dab in the middle of the story where hopefully there's some propulsion to break all of that up.
Yeah.
To think that you're going to sit there and read what takes you longer to read the issue. It takes you longer to read the issue than to read these X mentions. Do I need to know in the middle of this book the answer to where did you first encounter the X-Men from Darren Shan? If you put a gun to my head right now and said, I'm going to pull the trigger, if you can't tell me who Darren Shan is, I would say, well, delete me then. I'm gone because I don't know who the fuck that is. So why am I reading the answer to that question from someone I don't know when I could just see Cyclops? Put it in the back.
When I could finally get to see Temper do something cool. Like, what is the deal with this? Tom, stop it.
Even after all that, Brooklyn Man with the 1999 super chat says pull it.
Oh,
damn. There
Brooklyn
it is.
Man.
You just paid for all of our issues, so thank you.
Brooklyn Man, thank you so much for that. That is awesome of you. And I have never even seen your name before here. So to just pop up with a $20 super chat like that, that's real love, and we appreciate it. And that's a good reminder to everybody that super chats are indeed open. So there you go. Uncanny Suit says, oh my God, Sean, look, what do you want me to tell you, bro? These are the facts. That's all I come here to do is talk the truth. Come on. What else are you guys saying here? Figure Drawing said, if you're a real one, click the share button and copy the link. I've been told that this may help the algorithm. Well,
Damn, okay.
Figure Drawing, you're completely right, brother or sister or other. You are completely right because all of that helps out so much, and that would make you a real one. Appreciate it.
Thor's drinking buddy points out, but have you noticed that when Jed is writing team books, that he separates the team? It's rare that they all share a panel together.
Yeah.
Yep. Always.
That's why I've said he works better with smaller teams like Moon Knight and Doctor Strange, where it's like 3 or 4 people.
But they keep going to him with team books. That's the funny part.
I don't get. I mean, he must be able to put out books on time. I feel like that's what a lot of the big two kind of winds up being at some points. It's just like, can you get a script on time? Cool.
Yep. We'll work with them.
Yeah. Like you're either You're either on time, you're amazing, or you're nice. And you can't be all three.
Triple Hole says, Thor's drinking buddy says Stegman is already off the book after this issue. Is that true? I hadn't heard about that. That is depressing.
Is that why Cyclops is freaking out at the end of this?
Yes.
He's about to get aged up in real time.
Cole said the editorial insert was fine. Come on. Marvel has done way worse with fold-out page ads. I'd rather hear from creators than some random ad. All right. Look, I'm having fun, right? I'm just talking shit. But being real for a little bit, can you tell me who Darren Shan is? I'm sure that they're a great person. This is nothing against them at all. But in the middle of your comic, like smack dab in the middle, do you need to see when he first started reading X-Men comics?
It's not even that we're complaining about the fact that this is in the book.
It should be.
But it should be at the end of the book. Or even the beginning of the book. I would take that fine.
So I looked it up. Stegman is off next issue. It's going to be Netho Diaz in issue 4, but Stegman will be back. So just taking a breather.
Netho Diaz.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna stick through X-Men. I'm sorry, guys. We're gonna stick through it for the first arc. We're gonna read the first 6. And after that, we can decide what we want to do.
Speaking of sticking through it.
That's a great segue, and that's exactly where I was going. Ultimate X-Men number 6. You want to talk about pitchforks? Somebody said bring out the pitchforks. For X-Men, let's see what the panel has to say about this one. So, as we all understand, this is Peach Momoko's baby, lettered by Travis Lanham. This issue pulls back some of the layers that surround the mystery of mutant kind and the cult of the children of the atom or whatever, as our protagonists, the Ultimate X-Men, are trying to uncover the truth of what's going on here. And Shinobu Kageyama, who the book is now openly referring to as the Shadow King, at least in the cast page, has a lot to do with this cult and what is going on with it. There is, an encounter. I can't even really call it a fight because it wasn't, but there is an encounter that our mutants have between each other where they're kind of battling the Shadow King very briefly. And then he fucks off and the book ends. So who's go ahead, Marco. Go ahead.
He's not even going to finish the question.
Yeah, it's fine. Go ahead.
I'm back in, baby. I said last issue, I'm out. I can't stand this book. I don't know where it's going. This was almost pick of the week. I had to balance it out for a second. This came back to me so hard with the lore that I needed, more of the explanation into, like, directly calling this guy the Shadow King. That first breakdown page where they give me who the players are. I was so excited to see that because it feels like they're committing to it. And then now it's actually finally turning into this adventure story. And I've been frustrated with the pace of this. This issue is what I feel like I needed 3 issues ago. And now that we're finally here, I forgot who it was earlier who said they were off of a Hickman. I feel it, dude. I'm back on this shit.
That's so wild, dude.
Total 180.
That's so wild because I'm the same boat, actually. I enjoyed this.
Yeah.
it felt like there was actual plot finally. Like there was progression, character progression, plot progression, name dropping, pretty much establishing that mutants exist in this world. Because they mentioned like the something about mutants or the X sanction, or they mentioned something that Sean probably
We've been known that mutants exist, though.
Sure, we did, but I don't think we've really had it spoken to us in this book.
We definitely have, because earlier in the series they were talking about
Oh,
this
with Storm.
cult of the
Yep.
yeah,
Okay.
and Storm.
Yeah, but there just seemed to be a lot more forward momentum in this. And the pacing felt like a 180. I agree, Marco. Like where it felt like there was actual stuff going on in this, and the pages didn't really, even from like the panel layout. It's almost like there was like active feedback given, and you can see it happening on the page. Because even the panel layout, like things are a little more condensed, are a little more traditional Western comics, where things are able to be a little more compact, and they the whole mystery with who's controlling the Shadow King now. Like, there's a lot more in this issue than I expected. I expected this to be the issue where I was like, all right, cool. I gave it 6. I'm out.
Same.
But after the end of this, I was like, man, am I actually interested in what happens next? Maybe. Kind of had a bit of a Runaways vibe from like Brian K. Vaughan too towards the end of it. Yeah, I think I liked this.
And on the art front, I think what I felt from Peach was all the basketball sequences, them playing in the background, them flipping between the conversation. I think one of the issues with the conversations in the past has been it's so static, and now we're okay. These people are playing in the background. We're having a conversation over that action. Then it flips back over to the actual people speaking. And there's just one moment. There's just one big panel where it's literally just the court, and Peach does her watercolors and stuff. And I thought an interesting but pregnant pause, especially in context of what gets sort of revealed with Mori and Natsu being like, "Oh yeah, our family's part of that," which I thought that was a bit, very what is it? Convenient, contrived almost. Oh yeah, my parents know that cult. All right, I was a little much there, but I think otherwise this was a 100% turnaround.
Do it, Cale.
I mean, look, I'm just glad you guys are here having fun. It's real important to like the comic books that we come out here every week and talk about. And I'm just glad that you guys can take this comic book that had very little actual action and very little plot happen. I guess we know what mutants are, and I guess we know what this cult, the Children of the Atoms, are. I don't know, man. I just can't vibe with this book. Um, I just I get that there's some suicide awareness stuff happening. I there. I don't think I totally get what the deal with the Shadow King is. Is he a fan fiction writer that wants to control what Hisako does? I just nothing is clear, but it feels like it's all there, and I'm just not vibing. It feels opaque to me. And but it also feels, I don't know, man. I hate to say this, but it also feels simple.
Okay.
Not for me.
So, first of all, I thought that this was solid. I thought it was solid. I enjoyed the fact that we got some progression. I like seeing the girls together. It's all very cute. I liked armoring up and doing something finally. That was kind of cool. But money matters. And 6 times 5 is 30. That is the amount of money that we have spent on just this first 6 issues of Ultimate X-Men. That is way too much for me to know so little. For there to still not be, a clear resemblance to the X-Men. Um, and quite frankly, I understand. I've seen enough. Um, Me enjoying it a little bit is not enough for me to want to keep paying $4.99 for a story that I'm not enthralled by, that I'm not in love with, that's, just not taking me on a ride. It feels like it's taking me on a walk. And at $4.99, I'm not good with that. I'm sorry. Like, I get that there are a lot of people who are enjoying this. I know Chad is largely against me when we talk about this, but that is okay because Chad isn't paying my freaking bills, Chat isn't dropping the $4.99 that it costs to read this every month. And I mean, we've got Cyclops here. I guess this is Cyclops, the girl with the eye patch. It's like, is this what we're gonna do for every version of the characters that we love? Are they just all gonna be young Asian girls? That's kind of, I don't get it. I don't get it. And
Fanfic for that.
huh?
There's a fanfic for that.
And I feel like this is it.
Mm.
On merits, I think there's good stuff here, but it's too little too late for me. On top of the fact that even this, like, I liked it. It has good bits. I don't love it.
Mm.
At $4.99, I gotta love it. So I have to pass.
Damn. This is a pull for me. This one, I see your point, Sean. And I think the real stinger is that it took 6 issues to get here. That's, I feel like, probably the biggest sin. Is you just don't have enough momentum to have gotten to the point of this is turning around, and even from a, maybe not all the way, but good enough for me to be like, okay, I'm gonna give this one more issue to see how this other stuff that you've introduced is now going to pay off.
For me, it's not like on an issue to issue basis right now.
Mm.
Like if the next issue is back to what issue 5 was, I'm out. But as Sean says, as you take it, you kind of expand upon that, and you're like, this is issue 6, and only finally getting some kind of progress, even as minimal as it is. That's a problem. I don't disagree with that.
How many issues are you gonna give it?
8.
I'm stubborn and also kind of dumb, so probably a lot.
Hey, you know what I will say though, no reservations about saying this. This issue did look great. It looked awesome. I really appreciated some of the pages that removed panel count in favor of bigger panels. I wish I could freaking show you. Now I know how you guys feel with that digital stuff. But there are some really nice looking bits with armor. I like when I like when what's her name? Nico Minoru is pointing um that goofy what's the word I'm looking for? Help me out.
The keychain or the staff of one?
The staff.
Yeah.
But previously it looked more like
a magnifying
magnifying
glass.
thank you, a
yeah.
magnifying glass.
Oh,
I
yeah,
love
yeah,
when
yeah.
she's pointing that shit at the Shadow King. Like, what are you doing with that? But we know it has power, but it just looks so funny the way she uses it. It's cute. I like the way it looks. It's a good looking book. But I think I'm off. I think I have to be off.
Yeah, the parts where the Shadow King was, wilding out in his little backstory too, like where the black tentacles and stuff creep in and he's being the Shadow King, I guess, were sufficiently creepy. Like I really thought they worked really well.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So forgetting our personal, like, what are you gonna spend your $4.99 on for your personal life? Do we continue to review Ultimate X-Men on the podcast? That is the question.
The arc ends at 7.
Does it?
I don't know.
Because it sure doesn't seem like there's an end in sight. Like,
I'm on the throw it on the pole kind of plan here.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's talk about it.
I'm still willing to give it an arc, but I would love to know what the end point is, because it's clearly not 6. Does that mean it's 8?
Trying to pull up if it says anything here.
And how are they going to fit 8 issues to the trade? That's a little.
Yeah, that seems weird. It's usually a
Yeah.
6-issue trade, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
5 to 6.
It looks like it's just gonna keep going. I read some of the solicits.
Yeah, Triple Hole says I think this was the end of the arc.
Damn.
I think it was. I genuinely think it was. The same way Ultimate Spider-Man, the end of that arc was the fight with Kingpin. That was a little bit of a dud.
I guess, yeah, with this reveal on the last page, I mean, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, this is the first arc. Take it or
Damn.
leave it.
I'm out.
Out.
Yeah, I think out for the poll for me.
Sure.
Sure, you're out for the show?
For the show, yeah, I'll probably keep reading myself though.
And Marco, what did you say?
That I think for the show out, but I'd like it if we could do it on the poll.
Okay.
I was afraid you'd say that.
It's going to win. It's going to win.
Has it ever been on the poll before?
No, I don't think
No.
so.
Okay. Well, we'll find out.
It's in
the only-
competition with Avengers. Oh no, that's November. Never mind.
Well, and Ultimate Black Panther. It's the only other Ultimate book on the poll right now.
And it doesn't even always win. So, I mean, do you want to throw it to the chat? We can throw a poll out there, see what you guys are saying. Do you want us to continue reviewing Ultimate X-Men? Yes or no? That's it. Those are the only choices, Marco. Very binary, yes or no. Throw it up for me, please. I want to know what you guys think. Dean Abari says she said on Insta it's the end of the first arc. So there we go.
Okay, yeah, then I'm done. I'm toast. Thor's drinking buddy says, hot take, but I don't think this story was meant for the Ultimate Universe, but for Peach's Demon Days universe, and they told her to shoehorn it in this universe. That's cool, and I like that, but we are reading it in this universe.
And I think that I don't think that's right, because that's in such a different universe, a different world, told differently. I think that's much better compared to this at all. Sorry,
I don't think I buy that. I don't think I buy that. I think this was created for this,
Yeah.
personally.
If anything, it was created for this, and they just gave her carte blanche to do what she wanted to do. And maybe there's a lack of cohesion with the rest of the line.
Yeah. All right, so we've got that poll up. If you're listening to us live, give us your thoughts by answering in the poll. The question is, should the pals continue to read Ultimate X-Men? Dina Bari says no because you guys don't like it. Uncanny Suit says, nah, just read it on your own and throw your thoughts on Discord if you really like it. That's valid. Thor's Drinking Buddy says, no, talk about books you like. I'd even like to throw up a poll for that. Do you guys only want to hear us talk about books we like?
Yeah, that doesn't feel fair.
I think when it's a known quantity, it's different. Like if we read a new book and we don't like it, that's fine. But if we're constantly reading a book we don't like, that's a different thing.
If it were up to me, only Ultimate X-Men would be cut, and that would be that. There would be no poll. There would be no community poll. It would just be, it's over. We gave it the 6. We did our best. That's it. I'll probably still buy it, to be honest with you. But do I want to keep talking about it every month? I actually don't. I really don't. Phenomenal AC says, if you're not into it, leave it. Yeah, like, it's not even to bash, I don't have any issue with Peach Momoko at all. I think she's super talented. And even if I didn't, the evidence that she is clear because so many people believe that she is, and her books sell well. It's just a personal taste issue at this point. That's all it is.
Tyler, who's this variant on the stream? by? Is
Tread
that
More.
Tread
Actually.
More?
Yeah, it's Tread More.
Wow.
It's great, right?
I like that a lot.
I love it too. It's just it's good fashion,
Yeah.
which I didn't really picture Treadmore being like a thing that he was good at. You know,
Yeah.
Treadmore came out with this Mysterio loading screen for Fortnite this season. Oh, so good.
Ooh.
Brooklyn Man said, I just paid your bills. Well, there is some truth to that. But I must, if we're going to pull the curtain back, we're going to pull the curtain back. We're going to get really real about, paying bills. That 20 spot that you just gave us probably came through, I'm going to guess, Apple, right? And so then what happens is they get their 30% cut or 20% or whatever it is. Then YouTube gets their 30% cut. So by the time we get that 20, it looks a lot more like a 10 or whatever that math breaks down to. We could ask Marco the robot for the actual money value. But what the point that I'm trying to make is that 20 spot that you were so gracious to give us doesn't actually cover 2 copies of this freaking book at $4.99. But thank you all the same. You were still fantastic.
Which is more of a condemnation of how expensive comics are, or how much money gets cut from the transactions.
It's more of a telling you guys that the best way to support the Comics Pals is patreon.com/thecomics-pals. Uncanny Suit said they're swagged out. Yeah, those girls look fantastic on that cover there. Love it. Can y'all write off your comics? Yeah.
What is a write-off, honestly, though? I write everything off. Oh, hold on. The IRS is calling me.
Better watch out, buddy. Right now, that poll is even. Dead heat.
Even.
We'll get into the next book. We'll leave it up for a little bit and see how it shakes out, all right? So let's talk about The Nice House by the Sea, number 2. This is by James Tynion IV, with art by Alvaro Martinez Bueno, colors by Jordi Belair, letters by World Design. The same creative team that we had, of course, for Nice House by the Lake. And this issue just gives us, a little bit more of, island life, or, wherever they're at life. But things are going wrong. They're losing control. Things are happening that, they're not even aware of who's pulling the strings anymore. Apparently, Walter has died. But I don't think we knew that or knew how or whatever. But there's this other guy, Oliver, who is an alien as well, who is the one who brought this particular cast to this particular place. And it seems that the lines between both series are blurring. And I enjoyed this, I think. But I spent a lot of it kind of just being confused again about who's who,
Yep.
Yeah.
what they're talking about. There's Oliver, there's Walter, there's Nora, there's this one, there's that one. The cast of this book is insane, and I was lost all over again, and it felt bad.
They put the thing I've been requesting since Nice House on the Lake, a character sheet at the end of the book, showing who each person is and their title. Right. That should have been at the first, because this is the same cast from the first series. And the first issue of this book was a whole different cast. We don't see any of them in this book.
Yeah.
So it did throw me off pretty much instantaneously.
That threw me.
Yeah.
That threw me. Oh, buddy. Because then it felt at certain points I was kind of looking for them.
Yep.
Because I would go, oh, wait, that guy looks. Oh, no, hang on. If Ryan's talking to them, then crap.
Dude.
Not to mention the title page is at the sea. They cut to the sea people and the title page, which is the beach, and they go right back to the lake afterwards.
I read 10 pages in. I was like, hold on a second. These are the lake people.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I had to fucking reread that shit.
But not only are they the lake people, they're lake people 2 years later, so they look different.
They look different. Different characters are there. And it was definitely a moment of just like, some of these things are supposed to have maybe an emotional weight to them, but I the only person that I remember dying was the headshot. This other woman, I was like, oh,
right, I believe, yeah.
Okay, and then but I don't recall that. It's just told to me, and people are having emotional reactions to that I didn't feel, because one, I didn't even know this is the right crew of people that I was supposed to be following, and then two, I have to remember these people's relationships. The cast is ballooned twice over now, and I can't. I feel like it's so hard to pick this up. This suffered so much from the gap in publication.
I found the cast of the Sea People much more engaging because they didn't have history. We were seeing their history being born on the page. Whereas the Nice House on the Lake People, they have a history that we've never seen on the page. They have a history with each other. They went to high school. They went to college to each other. They're fucking all over. A lot of that's off the page, so I find myself scrambling to remember all those dynamics.
Yeah.
Whereas the people on the sea, we're pretty much seeing it from square one. Maybe
New.
a year forward, but like enough where they're still building those dynamics. And I found that more engaging. So as soon as we went back to the Lake People, I was like, god damn it. I think I liked it by the end where I'm at where Sean was, where it's like, am I complaining about it? Yes. But I think it was interesting enough at the end. And then having that character sheet, which was needed from issue 1 of Nice House, the first series. It's enough to keep me into it, but I do have issues with the book.
Just like that we went back, it feels so frustrating to me.
In issue
Like,
2.
Sure.
In issue 2, yeah, like we just met these other people. We just met the other alien, Oliver, I guess. We just learned all their dynamics. And we just learned how this whole thing is supposed to work. That was our whole thing about the a house that follows the rules as the game is played. Walter didn't follow those rules, so everything went weird. Okay, now we're going back to see how it is supposed to be. But now in issue 2 of this series, we're going back to Walter to see how it's all fucked up, and they're getting dogs now, I guess. And I'm confused.
Yeah,
And like, I know I'm gonna love this in the trade, but like right now, this is tough to follow.
And for history's purposes, Cale, you read it fully in the trade, right? And you said you enjoyed it much better in trade format.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I double dipped. And I don't got the money for that.
I think I'm off. I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do it. It has nothing to do with me liking or not liking this issue, but this is the first time, one of the few times that I've been like, yo, I just can't follow this. There's way too many characters. There's too much happening. It threw me off dramatically. Without them being in motion, without them having voices, without actors playing them, it's just too hard for me to remember who's who. There's too many characters. When you add up both camps, I mean, we're talking about like what, 20 people?
Yeah.
That's a
20
lot of
something.
characters.
With like 2 black people.
Well,
Yeah.
what was it, Sarah Lawrence, right? All these people came from
I
Sarah
live right near
Lawrence
there.
and stuff
That's where
like that.
James Tinian came from.
That's why they're not black.
Oh, fair.
I thought you were just naming a character. Like, see, I
Oh,
don't even know
sorry,
who
that's
that
the
is.
school, yeah. Yeah, like there's great stuff here. It's really not about the quality of the book. I am intrigued. I just don't know if I can follow this in monthly floppies. And I don't trade weight anything. So I probably won't finish the story. But I'm
Damn.
frustrated by this. Maybe I'll just buy the issues and not read them.
What
else is new?
Yeah. That, I mean, Brooklyn Man just said that I'm trade waiting any Tinian book now. They start off amazing, but then they drag on with what feels like a cash grab. Well, I don't know about that, but yeah, I feel like I'd recommend you wait till this thing is like the whole thing's completed, not even this next book.
I mean, again, like it reads great in the trade. Like when you can see what's going on, and you can go back and reference stuff, and especially the faces. Like it's just it makes a huge difference because you're in it and you don't have to think about what just happened because it just happened.
Yeah.
Well, the house log page, right, is just a page of dialogue between various characters, and it breaks down to painter, comedian,
Yep.
writer,
Yeah.
accountant, scientist, consultant, acupuncture. Who the fuck are you talking about?
Yep.
I just don't. I haven't made that kind of connection to where I could just immediately tell you who any of those people are a reference to. You should use their real names at that point, and even that wouldn't be good enough.
To that though, these are characters we already have known,
Yeah.
and to still be lost, I feel like that just accentuates that.
Well, we couldn't tell the difference between them,
Previously,
toward the end
yeah.
of the first volume. Now we can't tell the difference between them because they all look different.
Yeah, I recommend you trade weight this. I cannot tell you to pull this. The quality is there. Everybody's work is great.
Yeah.
But visually, I'm really struggling to diversify or to understand who's who. And there's no element of this that is helping me. And I don't know that I can be helped. Maybe it's a me problem, but without actors involved, I just think this might be a little bit too big. I hate to say shit like that. It's just not. I'm not connecting the way I want to. I need to wait for this.
I think there's something to Bueno's art as well, where there's not as many like inks lining characters. Inks provide definition to things, where he's really good with characters and what I feel like is smudging and form to some degree, but you need to be able to accentuate stuff as much as like posture, and you can get that with starker lines. The way an individual carries themselves, the way they might be walking dynamically. Like there's additional ways that I think on the art side, Bueno could be doing more to help with these distinctions. And a lot of these instances are also happening in dark moments. We have a whole thunderstorm sequence again. It's happening in the nighttime. There's only maybe 5 pages where we're in the light. So also contrast helps with making those kinds of light contrast, helps with making those kinds of figures more noticeable and more remarkable.
So call it, guys.
Trade weight.
I'm gonna pull it.
Yeah, me too, Marco. Yeah.
Yeah, but grudgingly.
I don't think it's begrudgingly for me. I mean, I'm enjoying it enough, and the intrigue is there enough for me, and it looks good enough. Even though I agree, Marco. Some of the character work can be a little muddy in the sense that like it's hard to differentiate between what's what.
Yeah.
And I think the female forms have to be a little more distinct. I think they are on the sea people, but the lake people, everyone kind of looks the same. There's like one big dude in that whole thing. But I'm curious enough with the stuff that happened in issue 1 to continue reading to issue 3.
I just want to know, like, I just have so many ideas and theories about it that I want to know what plays out.
Yeah. Well,
I'll find out in 6 months.
yeah, I think I'm there with you on that one. You guys wanted us to read this week overwhelmingly, you wanted us to read Frankenstein through the book club poll. That's what you guys chose to vote on. So we are going to review that here in just a moment. Before we get into that, though, I do want to reference the book club poll that is up right now, because I would love for you guys to head on over to the Comics Pals or YouTube channel and cast your vote for which book you most want us to read in the poll that's up now. So we've got The Immortal Thor number 15, which is at 23% of the vote. I've been loving Immortal Thor. Scarlet number 4, which has been fantastic as well. That's at 20%. Plastic Man No More dominating the poll at the current minute with 44% of the vote. And Minor Arcana number 1 with 14% of the vote. Now, I saw Christian Uncaged on our Discord server was trying to start a movement in support of that book winning the poll this week. And yeah, you guys vote. Let us know what you want us to read.
Minor Arcana is the new Jeff Lemire book, right? Like Jeff Lemire across the board. Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing all of it, and I love that stuff. Wacky art.
That's some of his best stuff, I say.
Yeah, agreed.
But at the same time, Plastic Man
against the Kelly Thompson too. Like,
wait, Kelly Thompson's doing Plastic Man?
No,
Oh,
it's
oh, oh.
Scarlet.
Oh.
All right. So let's get into the book that won this week's poll, Frankenstein. This is by Michael Walsh.
Y'all
Who's
showed up for
doing-
me again.
Yeah. Wrote it, drew it. Tony Marie Griffin on colors, Becca Carey on the letters. This issue largely deals with the fact that a man has died, a family man has died, and Frankenstein wants to bring him back. He's a mad scientist who's going to bring this guy back. Of course, it goes right and wrong. And we see the resurrection of this individual. So Frankenstein's monster, essentially. And that's basically what happens. That's basically what this issue gets to do. By the end, I looked at the price, which is $4.99, and I wasn't happy. I
Yeah.
wasn't happy at all.
This is almost a shot-for-shot retelling of the Universal Monsters movie. Quite literally, with some of the lines in this. And Michael Walsh talks about it in his backup material. That, like, this is an homage to that. But it is him retelling that and showing those scenes, but with this added character, this little boy in this, that has kind of been at the peripheries, and we've never seen him. Almost like the in between of what actually happened in the movie. I don't think this has anything to do with Mary Shelley's or the actual classic literature. This is explicitly the Universal Monsters take on it. It is gorgeous. I really like the look of it. I felt this issue was a little too much a retelling of that movie. And
I've never seen that movie, and this was just thin as fuck.
Because I think it's hampered by that. I think it's hampered by trying to get to the "it's alive" scene, get to the point where, like, his wife comes in and tries to stop him from making Frankenstein. I think it's hampered with trying to retell that in this singular issue, which is that's a lot of work in the single issue to kind of tell all that. And does too little reinventing itself. I like the bits where it is different. You know, the kid meeting Frankenstein and realizing those were his father's hands. Those little bits I really enjoyed, and I hope the rest of the book is like that. But I'm kind of in the boat where, like, this was a little too much just a book report for a movie.
Yeah, I think I enjoy it, especially after reading that the where he explains into this. I like that we're the camera's perspective, right? I thought that was interesting. I thought that was a good idea, but I was reading this book, and I'm like, oh, that happened we got there already. Okay, cool. Oh, we finished the book. Okay, like things just accelerated. He flew through this. Like I would have liked pacing. I shot for shot, I think is fine if you stretch it out and leverage the medium. He's a phenomenally talented artist, but he's not utilizing the medium for these things. The "it's alive" moment, I think, could have been punctuated with a full page, not just a large panel. Like there are small things that you could do mechanically to help entice the readers through.
And I think that's due to the fact that he's did so much for this one issue that it had to be fit into a smaller panel.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I would argue that's not the point of the issue. The emotional crux is, the kid realizing that the monster has his father's hands. And we get those big moments when he sees the monster, and he sees a monster, but he also sees his father. And I think that's huge. But I absolutely think you guys are right in that there's too much of the movie here. Like, I think getting to actually see Frankenstein's monster from the angle of someone who sees him as a human, like the old man in the book, the old blind man in the book, I think would be an absolutely phenomenal take on this monster. But the recreation here of his creation I think, yeah, I think I agree. It really does hamper it. And even though I love Michael Walsh and Michael Walsh's art, and I do think the art is incredible. I just like it was so focused on those moments that it needed to get to that emotional crux at the end. We don't get it. We don't build up to it so much through the beginning, other than the moment where he we see his father, the boy's father, be dug up, and he's crying about the broken horse or whatever. There's a connection there, but there's not enough tenderness there that's
Mm.
shown by the father to the son, because we're busy dealing with the creation of the monster.
It felt like we were watching these tender moments of a movie with the kid, and then towards the end where it's less tender, it's him kind of realizing he needs to kill someone. But these tender, slower moments, and then hitting fast forward on a movie like a VCR for the other moments, where everything is going way too quick. And it almost feels like hopefully he got through all the bits he needed to in this first issue, and he could tell his story now. But I don't think that makes a good first issue.
Yeah, I had the same exact thought. Like, get this out of the way, fine, but you've done it at the cost of a new reader wanting to pick this up.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen the Frankenstein movie, never read the book or anything, but I'm pretty sure most people know what happens in Frankenstein or the general origin of the monster and all that good stuff. And so to just show that it's just not enough. I felt like I'd seen all this before, and I definitely haven't. But it's also been recreated so many times in so many different spaces that I might have. So, what is I'm not sure if there's anything original here, but the biggest draw, because you're not getting, you're basically getting the same story, is the art. And I think Michael Walsh's art is excellent. He delivers everything that you expect. The moment of the monster being electrified and coming to life is pretty cool. Um, the monster itself looks cool when it's standing up, and it's got the bolts in its neck. That's all, well rendered and everything, but I don't know. This is just one of those books where I didn't care at all.
I left this for the end because I'm like, Michael Walsh, man, yo, we're gonna get some silver coin vibes. Like, I was the most excited for this book and Alien, and sorry, bookended those, and I deflated. This disappointed me.
Yeah. Uh I'm gonna pass.
Yeah, I think I'm there with you. I'm gonna pass on this one, and I'm gonna recommend Frankenstein by Junji Ito.
Shit, recommend Silver Coin by Michael Walsh.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna pull. I'm still gonna pull, even though I feel like a lot of the interiors are gorgeous, so good. But I've seen Francavilla covers that look similar across the board. I am excited to see what else Michael Walsh can do, because that's where that's like, I've read Silver Coin. I know what he's capable of, and I'm excited to see that going forward. So it is a pull for me, just because I do want to stick with this a little more.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at too. I really found myself uh enraptured by the boy's story, and when that came up, I was excited. But we didn't spend enough time with it, so I'm interested to see what else Walsh has. But if it's gonna be this thin again, I think I'll drop it pretty quick. And for that matter, I'll recommend Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Easily one of my favorite books.
Anthology says, I don't know, a lot of people still think Frankenstein is the monster. Even the younger crowd may now know the story as well as older readers.
May not know the story.
May not, sorry. Yeah, and that's a trivia piece, that it's like, oh yeah, you think Frankenstein's the monster? Haha, he's not. Um, I don't think that's not enough for me, like, cool. I knew that coming in, and I didn't get anything out of this that I don't already know. Um It just needed to be more. Like I think about the Universal Monsters Dracula book, and even though according to Tyler that is a pretty direct uh you know
Adaptation.
adaptation. The art was incredible. It was, who was the artist? Martin Simmons, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The art was incredible, dynamic, all the way through the 4 issues, and I ate it up because even though the story was the same old story, that aspect of it looking so gorgeous, I was like, oh shit, all right, cool, this is different.
But at least that one kept the pacing of an adaptation. You know, it was pacing it to tell that story. Where this one,
Yeah.
the pacing was like, bam, let's get through the 90% of the movie. Like, we'll probably get the burning windmill by issue 2. I don't know. Yeah.
Mike Retiques says, hope you guys get on Green Lantern by Jeremy Adams. We're on it, dude. We're on it. I love that book. That book is awesome.
Mike Critiques, join us on our Discord if you want to hear about that, because people are always yapping about that book in our Discord.
Critiques. I get it.
Hector JM, thank you for the comment. Haven't seen you here before. Says, what's your opinion on Brevoort's comments on the Krakoan era? So that question typically would fit a lot better on our Saturday show, which is live every Saturday at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. But we'll answer it here for the sake of you being new and maybe not knowing that. My opinion on Tom Brevoort's comments on the Krakoan era is that they're a little odd. They seem to largely be about wanting us to just move on from it and, almost just forget that it happened and just move on to the next era, the current era. We talked about his comments about the relationship that is alluded to between Jean, Cyclops, and Wolverine, and how he said if it's not on the page, it's not on the stage, and we've railed against that. So largely, I haven't felt very good about Tom's comments over the last few months with respect to the Krakoan era. What else are you guys saying? Robotters 100 says, but Frankenstein is the actual monster. Thematically, the monster is simply dead parts reacting to being brought back, stitched together. That is simply different pieces from different people. Right. And that's a great comment. And I think that is certainly the intent of Mary Shelley, if I had to guess. And I say that as someone who hasn't read the book, so don't take my word as gospel. But that makes a lot of sense.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. Thor's drinking buddy says, I'm back with a quick recommendation. If you want to see Hulk and Thanos beat the hell out of each other with a beautiful double page splash by Jeff Shaw, then pick up Incredible Hulk Annual #1.
That's by Jeff Shaw? Oh, shit.
I'm annualed out, man.
That's that whole Infinity thing going on, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
James Jones said, and Walter isn't dead. He just let them think he was dead. Yeah, he's the dog. Yeah.
Yeah, true. But still, like, what does that mean? And that's the interesting part that I don't know, that I'm frustrated at.
Yeah, like I feel like I'm more frustrated by that book than any other book, even though it's a good book. It's quality, but
Yeah.
it's frustrating. Because everything is a question.
Yeah. And if everything's a question, nothing's a question.
That's one way to look at it.
It's the wrong lessons learned from Lost, I think.
Yes. All right. We've got one last piece of business to handle before we get out of here. And that is the stack. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar, who haven't seen this before, I buy too many comics. And part of the gimmick here, part of the game, is that you guys are going to tell us how many books you think I bought this week, right? And the winner, who will be a person that can receive a no prize, or they can get one of the Marvel comics that we didn't read for the show today, that person will be a person who gets closest to the final number without going over. So Price is Right style. So start getting those numbers in the comments. I see them coming in already. They're rolling in. Get your guesses in. and then we will reveal the final answer here in just a few minutes.
Oh, I never entered that poll, by the way.
Oh yeah, in the poll. Let's see where we at.
Ooh, should the pals continue to read Ultimate X-Men with 45 votes? 57% of you said yes. Y'all like to see us read stuff we don't like.
That's more votes than we have watching.
People have dipped since then.
Yeah. You guys that said yes, I love you. You're awesome, but no.
Oh,
Yeah. Sorry.
There it is.
Veto.
Recount.
I have to do it because we come here and say the same shit every time. But for the yeses, for you guys, we'll put it on the poll, the youtube.com/the Comics Pals community tab poll. And if it wins, it wins. But if we then say the same things, it's over. No more second chances. It's a wrap. That book is done for. Okay? That's the deal. Take it or leave it. Well, you have to take it. So it is what it is. You don't really have a choice.
Ooh, Franelations. Ultimate X-Men is my favorite book currently, followed by Spider-Boy. All right, nice.
how can you trust that?
That's twisty. Ultimate X-Men and Spider-Boy. All right, Franelations.
There's a lot of Spider-Boy fans out there. I don't get it, but I see it.
Listen, Franelations, I'm pretty sure this is the person I'm thinking about. Franelations is reading comics like he's freaking Tony Stark. Did you guys see that post he made on our Discord server?
Oh,
my man was reading Ultimate
Apple Vision,
Spider-Man
Oh,
with
yeah.
a HUD system on. How like what?
I want to read comics that way now. That's it.
Honestly,
living that Apple life, man.
Dude, I could be washing dishes and just kind of like, oh wow, ow, my finger.
Whoa, okay. You gotta show your hands when you're doing that motion on stream, Marco. Jesus Christ.
Nuts.
Yeah, that was Franelations. Wow.
So cool. Actually, is that native? Like, how is the app integrate like that? Is that Kindle? Like, how are you doing that?
Probably, I think you can see your apps, like your iOS apps, natively like it was a screen. It won't have integration unless they build it in, which really nobody has. But it's essentially another monitor.
Rad.
Podcast gets a lot less interesting when we are talking about the way that apps or that technology works. James Jones says Sean did the electoral college version of voting. Yes, I did. All right. Yeah,
Dean Abari says Spider-Boy's dope.
Cool.
Hey,
I'm happy. I'm happy that you like it. I read the first one and I was done. One and done for me. All right. We've got a whole bunch of numbers in the chat. Keep throwing them in. Cale's going to take it away, and he's going to rattle them off.
We've got Rami Darwish with 17, Franelations with 18, Dan Trudeau with his trusty 16, Triple Ho says 19, Shane Stewart says 14, Sean Ali says 20, Roboters 100 says the end of the summer stack going with a splashing 15, the Neighborhood Merc agrees with him with 15. James Jones says 19 on the stack. Need that no prize. Perennial winner, James Jones. Simple J says 13. Figure Drawing says 22. Ahmad Russell says 16. Marowak Iskiro says 20. My Critique says 7. Clearly hasn't watched it. And that is it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say it up front. This is going to be accurate, but very inaccurate at the same time. And if that doesn't make any sense, it will in a little bit. So we've got the 5 books that we did for the show, as always. All right. The Hunger in the Dusk, book 2. This is still great. I'm really enjoying it a lot. This issue gets a little horny. I'll say that.
Hell yeah.
But it's really good. It's really good. G. Willow Wilson is cooking, and Chris Wildgoose, I think, is going to be a star in this industry if he wants it that way.
Great name too.
Yeah. I've got Gotham City Sirens here as well. Now, I bought this book, and when I got home and looked at my stack, I looked at the price, and I was like, how the fuck is this $5.99? What happened? How's this possible? And then I
Great
thought,
cover.
has it been $5.99 the whole time? Am
Oh,
I
no.
stupid?
Uh-oh.
I don't know if it's. I think this is an expanded issue. That must be the reason. But that's a high price.
Sean, to make you feel better, previous issues were $3.99.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oof.
Is that issue 4?
Yeah, 404.
Wow. I feel like 2 and 3 just came out.
It was weekly.
Ted Brandt and
Oh.
Rose Stein on that issue though, issue 4.
Oh,
Hey, congrats to them.
Oh,
Former
old friends of the show.
ours.
Wow.
Yeah. I've got Absolute Power Origins here. This is the Amanda Waller Origin series. Don't ask me why I picked this up. I just did. I like the first one enough to want to continue on. Although people are saying Absolute Task Force is awesome, and I'm not buying that. So I feel like I'm buying the wrong tie out. I've got Zatanna Bringing Down the House. Number 3.
Bringing down the house.
Very good book. Very good.
For those of you who are curious, I got the cover where Zatanna is with the bunnies.
I was gonna say that was an Adam Hughes cover, but it's not. That's good though.
Hell yeah, it's good.
That looks like an old Coney Island poster.
Love it. Grommets, number 4. Still loving this. It's been really great. Haven't read it yet this week, but I am excited to. Monstrous, number 54.
my dude.
Now, you want to talk about something that needs to be on a poll? I thought about this. I thought about, should we do a poll where you guys tell me, just an Insta poll right now, you can even put it in the chat. I haven't read an issue of Monstrous in years. Years. Should I drop it?
Oh, you're bugging.
I have every issue.
Slap that bad boy in the poll, Marco.
Can the options be drop it, keep pulling, or read it?
Read it is not an option because we cannot even speak to that. Do you want me to drop it or should I keep buying it? Those are the only possibilities because I ain't reading it right now. That ain't happening. Saga 67. I most recently caught up with Saga. It's back now. I guess I had good timing.
Are you liking it?
Yeah. No, actually. I mean, yes and no. Like, yes, but it doesn't feel how it felt. It doesn't feel as good as it used to feel.
Sean, what issue do you have there?
60.
Oh no.
It's a second printing.
Oh. But you like it.
No, I hate it, Cale. I can't believe this. I thought Saga was back. I was like, oh, Saga, let me grab that. Because I don't freaking read, and I want to get out of my LCS so fast that I just picked it up. So I spent $3.99. And by the way, you want to know what's funny? I have multiple doubles of Saga because of this.
That's so
Because
funny.
it's the same cover. It just says second printing. Now I'm bummed out.
Good news is issue 69 has actual 69 on the cover, so.
I'm bummed out. Void Rivals number 12. Is this new? Better be new.
12, yeah.
Yeah,
You're right,
yeah. I saw that one.
Captain America number 12.
Have a good night, Dan. We'll see you.
Fantastic Four number 24. Amazing Spider-Man 56. Nyx number 2. And X-Force number 2. That's it.
I think that's 18.
What's your you gotta get an abacus. Cal, we gotta get you an abacus.
I keep tedious track on my fingers.
Oh, do you not? I do. I'll do a little tally.
It's
I
18.
can see it.
That's
18.
probably a lot better than
I thought
what
I thought those numbers I was seeing in the chat were way too high, but they weren't. Did anybody have 18?
18. Franlations. Franlations got the first 18. Let's
Yeah.
see. I think they got the only 18.
The only one.
Wow.
Guess we could throw Franelations and other books right on his Vision Pro.
Beautiful Franelations. We've done this before, so you just hit me up. And what do I have here for you? I've got Amazing Spider-Man, FF, Captain America. What else? X-Force and Nyx. Those are your options. Let me know what you want. And of course, if anybody else wants any of these, just reach out and I'll sort you out. Go ahead.
Responding here to Air Harlem, Monstrous is a better read and trade. I feel like I dropped it around the early 20s and I had to do a catch up, and I think I agree with that. The pacing there is a excellent through line. Well, now it's in the 50s, so I'm backed up, but and then figure drawing. Monstrous art equals elevated generic webtoons art. I don't get the appeal. That's wild. That book is phenomenal. Sana Takeda, I think, brings so much just like manga style to it. Anime, it's dynamic. There's so much fluidity. Hard disagree.
I'll read it one day, man. One day. But today, tomorrow, the day after that, they won't be the day. I'll read it on the 33rd, and then I'll let you guys know what I think about it. How about that?
Yeah.
Nice. Brilliant.
February 29th.
You got it.
Nah, because that day's coming.
Triple Hole says there was a Saga 68. Wait, so that did come out this week? Are you telling me?
Saga 68 did come out this week, yeah. So did you just have Saga up and they had did the second printing come out this week too?
Yes, because it must have been because I went to the Saga stack and I grabbed what was there, and it turns out it was the wrong issue. This fucking place, let me tell you something about my LCS, all right? I'm sick of it. Because I go there, and here's an example of the horse shit. I go to the DC section, and I grab, of course, Nice House by the Sea, because I have to, right? So I grab it, and you guys can't probably see too well right now, but this cover that I'm holding is the cardstock cover. I don't want that. I do not want that. It's an extra $1. It's an extra $1. And the cover that I want is behind it. So, but the problem is that they mix and sort the covers so that you can't find the cover A. So you do what I did. You get frustrated. You just grab one because I'm trying to find cover A, but Power Girl covers are falling next to me. They're falling all over the floor because I'm trying to look through the Nice House stack. And then I'm like, God, I feel like such a douche right now. I don't want to just keep dropping comics. Let me just grab and go. So I paid an extra $1 to not look like a douche at my LCS. Meanwhile, there are fuckers standing there reading comics happily, just happily standing in front of everything, just reading. And do you want to know what that reading cost me? Do you want to know what it cost me? I'm going to tell you what it cost me. Because this week, I missed out on multiple comics. I didn't grab Detective Comics this week. I clearly missed out on the new Saga, which is annoying. I missed out on what's it called? The Remender book, The Sacrificers. I didn't get that either.
Sean, what about a pull list?
I don't want one, Tyler. I
would
like
solve your issues.
I like the process. I enjoy it.
It doesn't seem like you like
Yeah,
it.
it doesn't sound like it.
I mean, I don't enjoy it right now. Shit, I'm down 3, guys. I'm down 3, and I bought a book I didn't even need because I got a second printing.
Amazing.
What if you went to the other place in New York?
What if you use that subscription and went digital?
Marco, are you crazy?
I'm just trying.
Do you want me off this show?
I'm just trying to highlight the fact that you're still paying for that.
Do you want me off the show? Because I will never go digital. That's my last day. You want to see Sean and R? Let the industry go full digital. Go ahead, Tyler. Say it.
If you had a pull list, you'd be in and out quicker.
Yeah, you're right. But then I wouldn't have the joy of browsing.
What
and
joy?
Trying to get through the sea of sweaty men just casually standing there reading comics. Like, don't you guys have etiquette? I assume that listeners, I assume you guys are the good guys. But
Not sweaty.
please, if somehow you're hearing my voice and you are one of those fuckers that stands there like da 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 da, just reading whole comic books, can you stop it so that I can get by you? Please. Please.
Or at least have some manners and hide. Like, fucking hell.
Go to a corner.
Whatever happened to shame? We need to bring shame and bullying back, I think.
Yeah. Or ask for a seat and see what they tell you.
Yeah.
Unreal. Chat says drop monstrous. Largely.
There you go.
All right. I guess I'll do it. Let's get through a few more comments before we cut out. Triple Hole says, just wanted to say that Archie the Decision by Tom King was a very nostalgic read. A very true to form Archie book if you're into that. Well, my question to you, Triple Hole, is which of those characters goes insane?
Jughead. Who else?
Because that's every TK book at this point, right?
Yeah. Basically, just a plot of Riverdale.
Franelation says, my store I go to puts each version in its own stack. I don't have to sort through anything to grab what I want. Well, Franelations, where do you live? Because I'll go to your local. I'll go to your LCS. I mean, if you're in New York, but if you're not, then no.
Brooklyn Man says Action City Comics in Greenpoint.
Where's Greenpoint?
Brooklyn.
That's the most Manhattanite question ever.
Well, the problem is, Brooklyn Man, that I'm a Manhattan man. And I don't go to Brooklyn, man. Unless I have to.
Manhattan Man.
Maybe you should.
Actually, it does have a good ring to it.
I can't. Triple Ho says, gotta do the reserve, Sean. I do the pull list and browse. Look, what you're saying makes logical sense. You are right. Who is right is not the problem here. I am the problem here. And those fuckers that won't just move out of the way. Move. If you've been to an LCS, you know what I'm talking about. This is the only advantage that you digital people have on Wednesday.
If anyone listening to this works at the shop that Sean goes to, and they could probably get it through context clues, can we get security footage? I want to see how quickly Sean's in and out of here.
Oh, that would be wild. I would, yeah, you know what? I would love to see that.
He's just a blur. He's like Kingdom Come Flash.
Leaving money on the counter.
Murphy says, I get that, Sean. Want to get your hands on the exact right copy. This is the most New Yorker shopping talk I've ever heard. Well, yes. We buy physical because we want to have that experience, right? So I want to browse a little bit, but I don't want to do it with people that don't put on deodorant and stand around and just read comics. Like, don't you have somewhere else to be? Why do you want to be here that bad?
Somewhere else to be. A shower.
See, I question you, like, with this, Sean, and getting a pull list and all that. But, like, at the same time, there are action figures I don't buy because I want to find it. There's a hunt involved.
Oh, that's me in records. There's like 3 that I will never find that I could easily go online and order.
Yep.
Like, no, it has to be in the wild.
Right, there's a pleasure in it.
Yeah.
Robotters 100 says shame should be brought back. Shame should be brought back in society hardcore. I agree, brother. I go to the movies and the things I see at the movies blow my mind. It wasn't the worst thing in the world. Like, get it in if you need to. But I saw a woman. I went to see I forget what the name of the movie is, but I went to see a movie and a woman was knitting the entire movie.
Oh.
Knitting.
Oh, that's not that bad.
Yeah,
No.
I had an ex did that.
It's not bad, but what the fuck? It's totally dark. And you're just straight up knitting. How do you see what you're doing? How are you not pricking your fingers?
No, you're knitting something different.
What do you mean?
You're thinking of crochet.
Knitting,
It's like muscle memory. Yeah.
yeah, it's the needles they have aren't sharp. They're literally,
Oh,
and what they do basically is all they're doing is wrapping the yarn around the needles.
It's a lot of counting.
So
yeah.
she probably wasn't even looking at the needles.
Honestly, that's called ADHD. That's what that is.
Yeah,
That's
She
big time.
wasn't.
multitasking.
she wasn't looking at the needle. She had her Coke. She had
Yeah.
her. Oh my God, she was locked in. But then I went to see Deadpool and Wolverine. The first time was beautiful. The second time was a fucking nightmare because everybody decided that now was the time to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I can't. That I won't abide by.
Brutal, brutal.
Now
Go ahead, Cale.
I want to end this on a nice note. You get a nice comment here from Robotters that I think should maybe let's calm everybody down.
Go ahead.
Take a chill. Let's
Okay.
just chill a second. The real goal is keeping it under 20. Sean is showing progress, at least from what I've seen, though you do have to be careful for those second printings.
Listen,
You're doing great. You're doing great, buddy.
I appreciate that. I love you guys. The only issue is that I missed 3 books. So if I didn't, it would have been 20. And next week, spoiler alert, they'll be on the stack.
I was gonna say just donate Saga to like a library for kids. Then I realized, oh wait, that's Saga.
It's a random Saga issue. And what, just out of curiosity, what happens in this issue? Are there titties? Are there,
Over under, it's usually yes.
right, exactly. Like I don't even know what happened in this issue. Oh, wait, huh? Wait,
I'm not up to date. Don't ruin anything for me.
no. I'm confused. Whatever. Saga is Saga. I don't even know what's going on anymore. All right. I think when I've reached this point, the time has come to end the show. So thank you all so much for tuning in. On your way out, please do make sure to hit the like button. It helps us out a lot. Subscribe to the channel if you're not. The next time we'll be live with you is this Saturday at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. The one thing that I can promise you right now as a tease is that we are going to have a great time, as we do every single time that we are live, and you guys make that possible. So show up Saturday, 10:15 a.m. Eastern, to start your weekend with your pals. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you in the next one.